This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, 5 people have been injured, including 2 critically, after a tree fell on a group of people at Queenstown's Shotover Jet Base earlier this afternoon. 3 sheds have been destroyed after strong winds caused flames to sweep through a Clutha farm this afternoon. And a mowing operation caused a fire at Black Ridge Vineyard in Alexandra yesterday afternoon. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Sophie Morris. 5 people have been injured, including 2 critically, after a tree fell on a group of people at Queenstown Shotover Jet Base earlier this afternoon. A St John spokesman says 2 people have been critically injured and 1 person is seriously injured. Another person is moderately injured, while 1 person also received minor injuries. The ages and genders of the patients aren't known. One of the critically injured patients has been flown by helicopter to Dunedin Hospital, while the other 4 have been taken to Lakes District Hospital. Police say emergency services were called to the incident at the Arthurs Point Road Base at around 1 p.m. Shotover Jet issued an alert on its website saying it's closed for the rest of the day. A person at the scene described it as absolute chaos and estimated the tree was at least 15 metres tall. Staying with Queenstown, the Mayor is lobbying for new direct bus services to ease the resort's traffic woes. Jim Bolt is hoping the new year will also bring new routes, including direct services to Lake Hayes Estate and Arrowtown.
Traffic congestion in Queenstown, a familiar sight and a growing source of frustration for locals. Motorists around the resort are facing increasing traffic delays, with some saying it can take 50 minutes to drive less than 20 kilometres. Mayor Jim Bolt says new direct bus services could help ease their traffic woes.
The main thing we're pushing for in the short term is more services between Lake Hayes Estate, Shotover Country and Queenstown directly.
He says that would reduce traffic along Ladies Mile and the Frankton roundabouts. The council's put in requests with its Otago Regional Council counterparts who run the resort's bus service.
They're looking at their options to provide those services at the present time. I'm very sure that they're as keen as we are to see additional people riding on the buses. We expect to hear back from them in the short term.
Roadworks at the Tucker Beach Road intersection caused significant delays in the latter part of last year, adding up to 40 minutes to travel times from outer suburbs into town. Bolt says the need for new services is absolutely pressing.
Ladies Mile isn't too bad at the present time with school holidays on, but I strongly suspect about the end of this month we'll go back to those enormous queues that we had in the latter part of last year.
The Otago Regional Council hasn't responded yet, but Bolt has a plea for residents. If the new direct bus services are provided, it's up to the public to use them. In Queenstown, the South Today.
3 sheds have been destroyed after strong winds caused flames to sweep through a Clutha farm this afternoon. Firefighters were called to a property on Clutha Valley Road at Pukeawa just after midday after reports of a fire in a slash field. Fire and Emergency New Zealand say it was spread by very strong winds. They were quickly able to contain the fire, but 3 farm sheds were destroyed. Firefighters managed to protect the milking platform and all stock were moved. 2 helicopters with monsoon buckets were called to the scene to help fight the blaze. Meanwhile, a mowing operation caused a fire at Black Ridge Vineyard in Alexandra yesterday afternoon. Fire and emergency and rural fire crews responded to a call at just after 3 p.m. when areas of the vineyard were alight. A helicopter with a monsoon bucket made several passes over the fire as crews battled the blaze and rural fire crews monitored the scene from Conroy's Road. Crews were able to limit the fire to the confines of the vineyard section. High winds also added to the challenge for fire crews. Fire restrictions have been in place for the Central Otago region since the end of December. In Dunedin, 3 people have received minor to moderate injuries after 2 cars were involved in a head-on crash on Mount Cargill Road near the intersection with Donalds Hill Road yesterday evening. The crash happened just after 5 o'clock. A St John's spokesman says one person was transported by ambulance to hospital in a moderate condition. Police say the people involved sustained shock and whiplash. The southbound lane of the road was briefly closed. The historic Lone and Mercantile building at Dunedin's waterfront is set to sparkle with a mix of lanterns, projections, music and performance this week. The Summer Lights exhibition is being put on by organisers of the Dunedin Midwinter Carnival to raise funds for a place to permanently display their lanterns.
Behind the drab walls of the unused Lone and Mercantile building at Dunedin's Wharf, the public are invited to take in a magical feast of lanterns and audio-visual projections. The building is owned by Dunedin businessman Russell Lund, who has let the Dunedin Midwinter Carnival store their lanterns here for several years. This week's exhibition raises funds towards their long-term goal to have the lanterns on permanent display.
With the Midwinter event in the middle of the year, you get to see the lanterns in action and moving around, but at these installations you actually get to see them still and static. And you are able to examine them a bit more closely and get a sense of the craftsmanship that goes into them. So these cyclical seasonal events are mainly fundraisers to try and find all of these lanterns a permanent installation site where people will be able to do that all year round.
The show continues themes from previous carnival events, including performances by Brophy Aerials Dance School, projections by Lady Laserlight, and live music on Friday and Saturday nights.
We've rigged a particular rope in the centre of the exhibition, what we call the pond area, and there will be dancers hung from that, sort of looping around and floating as if they're underwater.
He says the carnival is always grateful for the support from the local community.
We rely heavily on volunteers. They are invaluable. Without their hands and without their help, all of these events, including the middle of the year midwinter event, could not go ahead. So we are always on the lookout for people to lend a hand in terms of making lanterns, mending lanterns, holding lanterns, helping to control the crowd in terms of crowd safety and health and safety regulations. So if any of these things interest you, please contact us through our Facebook page.
The Summer Lights exhibition is open every afternoon and evening until Saturday. In Dunedin, for the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. Tragedy was averted during a fishing trip on the Waitaki River. A Dunedin man has discovered a novel way to ride an e-scooter. And we meet the breeder whose $7,000 ram was crowned best sheep at Banks Peninsula A&P show.
Step into Shop on Carol and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Need to rent an EFTPOS? Whether it's just a week or the whole season, maybe a pop-up store, a concert or event. Anything's POS have equipment available to suit your needs for retail and hospitality with local support. To rent, lease or buy, contact Anything's POS.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent, and where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
I just like it. It's something that you can see the fruits of your own labour. You put it right now, you don't have as much to do at Christmas. You come see me, Derek, in the garden department, and then we get it done right.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life, Tuesdays, 7:30.
Welcome back. A day's fishing at the Waitaki River mouth near Glenavy took an unexpected turn for a man and his son when they had to be winched to safety by a helicopter yesterday. Police were called to the scene about 5 p.m. after the 48-year-old man and his 12-year-old son became stranded by the rising tide while fishing on a northern point near the mouth of the river. Police say they did the right thing by not attempting to swim. The man instead contacted his wife, who called emergency services. The pair were airlifted to safety without injury. A man who balanced an old lazy boy on a Lime e-scooter and rode it the wrong way down a cycle lane on Dunedin's one-way system says it was simply good fun. The man, who goes by the name J Bud on Facebook, was filmed sitting in the chair while riding the scooter on Great King Street. He says the stunt was about making Limes more fun and seeing what they were capable of. As shown here in this video, he balanced the chair on the scooter and was able to travel at some speed. A cool breeze kept conditions pleasant at the 107th annual Banks Peninsula A&P show at Little River over the weekend. Horses dominated the main ring at the show, while cattle were noticeably absent due to the Mycoplasma bovis outbreak. That left sheep to steal the show, with one farmer's new addition to his flock proving to be a real winner.
Travelling in rural style. One of the sheep which stole the show, riding on the back of a ute with his breeder, Ben Butterick. The pair waltzed off with the Supreme Sheep Award at the 107th Annual Banks Peninsula A&P show held at Little River.
Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise. I thought, well, the lineup was really good. I was real happy to win the one share, well, the champion ewe. There were some real good ewes in there, and that was a bit of a surprise, but no, I'm pretty happy about that. And the ram, well, I know he's a good ram. Otherwise, I wouldn't have brought him home from Gore.
His winning Hampshire ram is a recent addition to their flock, as he bought the young stud for just over $7,000 at the Gore Ram sales last Wednesday. Butterick farms just down the road from the A&P show at Kaituna with his parents and doesn't think their purchase was the highest price paid for a single animal.
Oh, when I was there, the Texel I think sold for $8, but that would be the highest price Hampshire I would have thought for a long time. Yeah. We sold one for $5 at Christchurch, but yeah, I haven't heard of one going for over $7 for a while. But he's worth it, and the blood's worth it to me.
He says he's been a fan of the Hampshire breed for many years. Sheep breeding is in his blood, as his dad Dave Butterick introduced Ben to the family business when he was knee-high to a ewe.
Well, I've always liked the Hampshires. I started when I was 12. Dad was shearing for a mate and he was shearing Hampshire rams. And I said to Dad, you know, I really like them. They're good, strong bone. You know, and he said to me, well, should we get some? And I thought, yeah, that'd be great, because I always wanted to start a sheep stud. So we started out with probably 15 ewes from that fella that Dad was shearing for. He was selling his ewes. Started with those 15 and then purchased some from Philip Charlesworth. She was a prominent breeder in North Canterbury at the time, and we just sort of went from there. And I personally think they're a very underrated breed.
The 20-something champion sheep breeder says it'll be business as usual for their stud for many years to come. In Little River, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, we see a special visitor in Otago Harbour and we take a look at tomorrow's weather.
Every Kiwi deserves a reliable garage door. Rely on Garador to protect your important stuff. Just like Darren. His Garador keeps his favourite ride in mint condition. We have a huge range at affordable prices. Visit our website for a free consultation. We stand behind every door.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
It's always really satisfying when a customer comes back after doing a purchase of outdoor furniture and knowing that we've got it done right.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Step into Shop on Carroll and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Need to rent an FPOS? Whether it's just a week or the whole season, maybe a pop-up store, a concert or event, Anything's POS have equipment available to suit your needs for retail and hospitality with local support. To rent, lease or buy, contact Anything's POS. Most of us have spots on our skin. That's quite normal. Finding skin cancer as early as possible is key to successful treatment. Book in for a free check of 1 to 2 moles or a comprehensive full body check with the Mole Doctor in Waverley.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Welcome back. It was the right day to go for a wildlife cruise in Dunedin yesterday, with passengers on both the Monarch and Vivian J enjoying a rare encounter with the southern right whale in Otago Harbour. The giant mammals are rarely seen in the harbour, as they usually pass out at sea on their way to Kaikoura. But Vivian J's skipper, John McLaughlin, says he'd seen the whale on his first cruise yesterday, and it appeared to have been in the outer harbour for most of the day. Once hunted close to extinction, southern right whales are now thought to number around 10,000 across the southern oceans. The New Zealand men's curling team has made a strong start to the international qualifying event at Naseby over the weekend. The event has brought 8 men's and 8 women's teams to Naseby from around the world, with the New Zealand captain labelling the international qualifying tournament huge for the region.
lining up to ice the competition. An international curling qualifying tournament is currently underway in Naseby. It has 16 teams from across the globe converging on the central Otago town. New Zealand curling team captain Scott Becker says having the event here is great for the sport.
It's amazing. No, it's really good. Having, 16 international teams here? It means a lot. It means a lot to curling in New Zealand, actually, to have this event.
The New Zealand men's team started well with a convincing 12-4 win over Australia on Friday night. Becker says there are many tough opponents in the competition and says any one of them could win the tournament.
Being sport though, and at this level with so many good teams, it could be anybody's pick. It's just going to be who performs in the week.
That said, Becker believes if you're generally shooting the stone well, you have a mathematical chance.
It's always about those percentages, I guess, if you were to break it down for maths. We always aim to throw at, say, an 85% gain. So you don't have to be perfect, but if you throw 85% of your shot that you're asked for, you should win as a team.
Round robin games continue until the finals on Wednesday, with the top 2 countries qualifying for the World Championships in March. In Naseby, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. 5 people have been injured, including 2 critically, after a tree fell on a group of people at Queenstown's Shotover Jet Base earlier this afternoon. 3 sheds have been destroyed after strong winds caused flames to sweep through a Clutha farm this afternoon. And a mowing operation caused a fire at a vineyard in Alexandra yesterday. A helicopter with a monsoon bucket making several passes to bring the blaze under control. And time now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Hayden.
Good evening, Sophie. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. We've got a it's been an interesting old day, hasn't it? And quite a sad day in patches. We'll have the latest in tomorrow's ODT on the Saxon at the Shotover Jet Base. Horrific winds up there, a really nasty incident. And obviously the other wind-related incidents around the region. So fire's been fanned by the wind. A pretty tough day for our firefighters, I would suggest, around the region. So let's hope that calms down a little bit. Yes. But we'll have the latest on that. Interesting story out of Queenstown. Another interesting story out of Queenstown, the remarkable ski field. And a little bit of a stoush with Doc over a major planned upgrade to the ski field, which has now been put on ice, if you'll pardon the pun. Some issues there, and that could be an interesting yarn too. South Dunedin news, there's some drilling about to start in South Dunedin, but don't panic, people who live in that fine area. Sort of scientific reasons behind it, a lot of holes 15 metres deep to get the latest information about water levels, soil, all that sort of stuff. Really handy stuff for South Dunedin. And Lime scooters, look, it's an issue that's not going to go away for an awful long time. We've got a bunch of letters on our letters page about Lime scooters, and we'll have the latest on whether the government is planning to consider making helmets compulsory. So huge interest still in those scooters, I think, and it's not an issue that's going to go away in a hurry.
Right, no. Well, thank you, Hayden. All of that and more in tomorrow's ODT. And time now for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with today's southern view, taken of bitumen baking in the sun at Dunedin's bus hub. Looking at the situation, a trough of low pressure slides over Otago tomorrow with strong warm northwesterlies ahead of a southwesterly front. Expect a rainy and windy day for most of the lower south. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport can expect rain and highs of 21 degrees. Across to the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim are predicted to be warm with 27 degrees for Nelson, 28 in grey skies for Blenheim. Expect a warm but cloudy day in Canterbury with 27 degrees for Kaikoura, rainy and 28 in Christchurch and Ashburton. Hold on to your hats in the southern centres with strong southwesterlies and rain predicted. The Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore are all expecting 14-degree highs. It's also rather windy over in central Otago, where freshening southwesterlies and rain are the main features of the day. It should be 15 in Wanaka, and Queenstown, 16 in Alexandra, while Te Anau is expecting strong southwesterlies, rain easing and 13 degrees. Looking at the northern towns, Timaru and Oamaru are in for moderate northerlies, with rain developing, a high of 24 for Timaru and 20 for Oamaru. Further inland, Omarama and Twizel are due for strong northwesterlies, rain later and 16 degrees. In Dunedin, cloud increasing tonight with some rain developing around dawn, mild temperatures with an overnight low of 14. Cloudy tomorrow with scattered light rain during the morning and moderate mild northerly winds, but a period of heavier rain early afternoon with colder southwesterlies becoming strong. A high of 23 and a low of 9. Cloudy and cool on Thursday with fresh breezy southwesterlies, looking at a high of 14 and a low of 10 degrees. And in Invercargill, rain tonight with strong cool southwesterlies developing and an overnight low of 13. Rain easing to showers tomorrow and becoming colder with strong gusty southwesterlies, a low of 8 and a high of 14. Showers clearing and sunny periods increasing on Thursday with fresh cool southwesterlies easing, a predicted top temperature of 14 degrees and a low of 8. That's all for our news this Tuesday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz, channel39.co.nz and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.